Okay, let's get into our save.js file that contains our Swagger UI, which is being required. And this is the user interface in which we used to test our CRUD function. And then I created the Swagger documentation and then stored it as a Swagger.json file, in which you can get it here in the documentation folder and then hit enter to the Swagger.json. Now, initially, I created two documentation formats in the YAML and in the JSON. The YAML is quite easy to read, as you can read through it, and easy to understand than the JSON. But due to the cost requirement, we are being required to use the JSON format. So from here, when we get down to our server, the JSON file, we can see that we have the routes being used here, the API/doc as the homepage. When we click in, we try to get our Swagger. We get down to our URL down here. Maybe this is the homepage. This is our initial homepage, and then we try to get our documentation by pasting in our API/doc routes here, and then press enter. It takes us to where we could test our CRUD function being created here. Let's get down to our route here. We have our contact route where we have the get function, we have the posts where we get our initial contact, getting all our initial contacts and our contact by ID. We get our account. We can post a request by creating a new contact, and then put by updating our contact. We try to delete by using the delete function here, in which we could head over and see in our controller. So this is it. To create a new contact, we use this function in our controller. What our controller does is like controlling whatever we have to get from the database. Maybe we try to get a list of contacts per ID. We try to create a new contact. We try to update our existing contacts. This is what that contact does. And then we try to delete our existing contacts. And then at the end, we export all the models so we use elsewhere. We get down to our database. You can see our database is well connected. We use the init database function to connect our database to their node.js. And then we get the database using their contacted get database function over here, and then export it to be used in our server. Oh, one thing, we have the env file to call our database. We have the get ignore to ignore our the env file and also our node model. We also have our index route here, which goes make use of the contact route, and then also get our homepage route here. Now, when we hit over down to our API documentation using the Swagger, and this you could see this is our deployed URL being code, and then for us to get the whole contact, you try this out, click here, and then execute. When we hit over, we could see our contact has been listed. Our first contact here, which has an ID starting from 6 and ending by 9. And then we get all our contacts by executing this over here. And then let me cancel and then try to get into, okay, let me adjust this. Try to post our contact. Maybe that means like creating a new contact. What we do here is we try this out. And let me call the first one name. And then the last name, and then the email name at name.com. And then I will call it right. And then let's hit the later back down to execute. Then we could see that our call function here, and then we could see our response, giving us a response of the first name, last name, email address, and also the favorite color embed there. And then what we could do, let's try and copy this ID and then cancel. and then adjust this. Let me get this contact by ID, and then try this out. Click in here, the ID, and then execute. We could see that we have a new contact being created here after in the response body. And that's quite fine because we use the body pairs here in our JSON file. Uh, in our saver.js, we executed that, so that made it possible. And then let's try and cancel this, and then see a possible way to update our contact by ID. Let's try this out. Okay, press the ID here, and then execute. Okay, as you could see, I have a body response contact updated successfully. What you really know is that I didn't really put anything. Oh, I left it empty, just a string, and then the bed there. Okay, let's get over. We have a response body here. Contacts updated successfully. And then let's try and see if we could delete our contact. Try this out. By your ID. Execute. Yeah, contact deleted successfully. Oh, this is how to use the Swagger documentation to test and to do some necessary documentation about our API. Let's try to close this and then get over to our VS Code and use the routed rests to test our API as well. We send a request, then we get all these, we get all our contacts. We also send a request. We get our contact by ID. We send a request. I'm trying to get a contact by ID. This is the initial ID. This is showing because this ID does not exist. Contact not found. And then let's click over here. Delete contact by ID. Contact not found. That is how the whole thing works. Thank you.